Can you believe we are less than a week away from National Signing Day on February 3rd? Mark Rogers TV counting you down to that very day with Brittnee Taylor Newman from football.com to talk some Florida State recruiting. Brittnee, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
So Florida State, we expect a lot from Florida State recruiting, always up there in the top 5, competing for not just national championships, but recruiting championships. What's it look like this year in regards to some of those players that are firmly committed and are kind of the buzz of the class right now?
Well, I mean, they're doing well so far. ESPN has them ranked number 4 as far as recruiting classes go. We know there's a lot of shifting in this next week between now and signing day. But they filled a lot of their needs early. That's sort of been Jimbo Fisher's approach every year, is get those commits, get them early. So they filled some big needs at defensive end, cornerback, linebacker early. So at this point, they have 20 commits total. They've only got a couple more spots to fill. So probably not a whole lot of big news between now and signing day. We'll talk in a minute about a couple of people that I think could be good picks for them, good lands if they're able to get them. But Jimbo doesn't want the drama. He likes to fill those spots early. So some of these guys that we're going to talk about, I've got 5 that I think are great picks for Florida State. Some of them are even enrolled at this point, early enrollees, and are very, very set. But the first one, a player that FSU fans should be really, really excited about, is Lavonta Taylor, number 1 ranked quarterback, 5th overall in the ESPN 300 list. He's a 5-star, 5'11", 183 pounds, out of Virginia Beach. Great land for Florida State, and he's been committed for a while. He's solid, not going anywhere. Number 2 is a quarterback that Florida State fans have been very hopeful about. His name is Malik. He's been committed to Florida State for quite a while now. 2nd-ranked quarterback, 4-star. He's a dual threat, 6'2", 185 pounds, out of Long Beach. He is an early enrollee as well. Very committed, not going anywhere. I think people expected to see him start perhaps next year. I don't know if we'll see that. I think we're not quite as sure now if we'll see him starting next year. I think he was the answer to Jameis Winston's absence for a little while there. Now we'll kind of have to see, because Sean McGuire will still be around. And then 3 is Amir Rasul. He's a 4-star wide receiver, 5'11", 194 pounds. I'm sorry, running back, out of Coral Gables. There are some last-minute questions about him. He is still getting interest from Miami and Alabama, so we could see him shift. He is not committed yet, but definitely, well, he's committed, but still shaky, and he could be a great asset as long as he sticks with the commitment he made. But he is getting some calls from teams, even leading into signing day, while there's still time to switch. And for the last 2 people on my list, it is a family affair. We have Ricky Aguayo. He is the brother of Roberto Aguayo, ranked about the same as his brother was coming in. He's a 3-star. Not necessarily someone that people would think would make a big splash, but his stats are definitely comparable to Roberto's. He did tell Tomahawk Nation last week, they were interviewing him, and he said he expects to be more accurate than his brother because he's got a bigger leg. So he's feeling very confident moving in. But he's definitely going to be a Nole through and through, you know, being from a family that has been able to capitalize on Nole victories lately. Roberto was definitely the best kicker Florida State has ever had. And then Jamel Cook is the 5th player. He is the cousin of, you guessed it, Dalvin Cook. Very talented safety, ranked number 3 at his position. 73rd overall in the ESPN 300 list, coming out of Miami, and he looks to be a great asset as well. So those are kind of the 5 that I think have been the biggest pickups so far out of the 20 that Jimbo's been able to secure for his team.
Brittnee, there is certainly no shortage of sibling rivalry in the Aguayo household. When Big Brother's basically a legend as a place kicker in Tallahassee, and it's already, I haven't stepped on campus yet, I'm better. I'm going to be better than Big Brother already. Malik Henry, it's interesting to note that he has about 7,500 followers on Twitter. Just go to @Wavy, all in caps, Wavy. That's his Twitter handle. And he played a lot under center as what we have considered in a previous video as one of our top 5 quarterbacks coming to the ACC. We actually had him rated at number 1. So Malik Henry, obviously a great get for Jimbo Fisher. Man, you named so many players that already have ties to Florida State. So I guess if Big Brother was good enough to come in and make an impact, then certainly let's stay in the family and get some more talent in the case of Jamel Cook as well. So as we get close to signing day, obviously there are a few guys that are on the fence. This is going to be a great class regardless, but who are some of those players that if Florida State brings them in, then it's a really outstanding class?
Well, like I said earlier, they only have a couple spots to fill. There's not a lot of drama with this, but there is a 4-star offensive tackle, Landon Dickerson, out of North Carolina, that I think could kind of help fill in some of those final remaining gaps. And then a 4-star linebacker, Dontavius Jackson, out of Houston. He's a highly regarded player. I think he could really help fill some of those holes as well. So if I'm a Florida State fan, those are 2 players that I'm looking at as we approach signing day that I'm kind of hoping that we pick up. But you're really sitting pretty if you're a Nole fan at this point. There's not a lot of drama. You can relax and enjoy a weekend by the pool. You don't have to be scouting out people's Twitters. Maybe Malik, he sounds like a good follow. That was a good pick there. But other than that, you can kind of relax and enjoy the drama on signing day as other fans are pulling their hair out.
I find it interesting. I was looking up these running backs, and Amir Rasul has pretty tame statistics compared to the other top running backs in the nation. So not a whole lot of wear and tear on him coming out of high school. Ran for less than 800 yards and about 10 touchdowns as, depending on your service, about the 7th to 9th rated running back in the nation coming out of high school. So again, Florida State doing a job on the recruiting trail as we expect. Brittnee Taylor Newman joining us from football.com. Thanks, Brittnee.
Thanks for having me on.